Once upon a time, Rome was the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. Its legions marched across continents, its roads connected distant lands, and its culture shaped entire civilizations. But as with all great empires, what rises must one day fall. It began slowly, almost unnoticed. When Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled in the late 2nd century AD, Rome was still powerful, but cracks were starting to form. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher king, had spent much of his reign fighting off invaders and holding the empire together. Outside Rome's borders, tribes of fierce warriors, whom the Romans called barbarians, were growing stronger. They lived in lands Rome couldn't conquer, and as they became more organized, they began to test the strength of the empire's borders. But there was more. Within Rome itself, corruption had taken root. Many senators and officials were greedy, accepting bribes, and making decisions that benefited them rather than the empire. The Roman government had grown bloated and inefficient, like a ship weighed down by too much cargo, struggling to stay afloat. At the same time, Rome's people were becoming frustrated. Taxes were high, but the empire's wealth was being funneled into the pockets of the rich, while the average citizen struggled. Life for the common Roman was hard, and loyalty to the empire began to wane. And what about the mighty Roman army, the backbone of the empire? Over time, the soldiers became less loyal. Many were no longer Romans, but foreign mercenaries, paid fighters who didn't care about Rome's future. They fought for gold, not glory. And when times grew tough, they simply stopped fighting. To make matters worse, the empire was simply too large to manage. Emperor Diocletian realized this and, in an effort to save it, split the empire into two halves, the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. While the East flourished, the West began to fall apart. In the West, Rome was crumbling. Barbarian tribes, like the Visigoths, Vandals, and Ostrogoths, continued to push into Roman territory, sacking cities, and taking land for themselves. The once invincible Roman legions could no longer hold them back. By 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire had reached its end. The last Roman emperor, a boy named Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by a barbarian king named Odoacer. And just like that, over 1,000 years of Roman rule came to a close. But Rome's story didn't vanish. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, would continue for centuries more, and Roman culture, law, and ideas still shape our world today. The fall of Rome was not the end, it was a new beginning. And so, the mighty Roman Empire, though fallen, lives on in our history, our cities, and in the stories we tell.